Enterprise Management 360.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech Chat. Now, in today's episode, I'm being joined by Nigel Cullington, who is the head of marketing at Upland Altify. So welcome, Nigel, and thank you for coming on today's Tech Chat.
Cheers, Max. Really appreciate it.
Now, you and me did a podcast back in December, and we were talking about customer revenue optimization. So it's good to have you back on for another chat here. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at how people can bridge the divide between sales and marketing. If we give a little bit of background on this kind of subject, so Upland has recently conducted some research and found that 68% of marketers believe that sales don't use their content correctly, and 74% of sales reps think that marketers don't even know what content is useful for them. So there's a lot of stuff in there that needs to be unpacked. But to start off with, in around that, what do you think are the root causes of that frustration? Does it come down to poor communication between the departments?
I think the issue is that the buyer's journey has certainly changed very drastically, over the last sort of 5 years or so specifically. And really the customer has become far more empowered. I mean, this is really digital transformation. And, absolutely the world we're living in now has reinforced that even more. The need to understand from what we would call a revenue team perspective, so sales and marketing working together, is how do you best provide value to your customers? If they are empowered to look for research and materials and look for solutions to solve the problems they have, you're only going to be as successful as those customers in being able to provide that content. So I think the misalignment between sales and marketing is they're not on the same trajectory. Many companies think that a customer is at the bottom of a funnel. So your marketing's job is to drive leads, drive MQLs, interest and awareness, and use content and so on. So most marketing organizations are very good at producing digital content, making sure that it's talking in one voice and so on. But they're not in alignment with maybe what the sales organization is doing and what their targets are. So I think the opportunity, and as we started and the conversation we had back in December around revenue optimization, is really starting to bring that journey together. So if the buying cycle doesn't reflect the way that people buy, and we're all here to try and help the customer. This is not just about mercenary selling. If they have a problem, how can we resolve it? The issue should be that sales and marketing should be working together. So whether you call this an account-based strategy, we all know about ABM, and it's been a buzzword for many years now, and there's some great technology there. But you can put all that technology together and have a huge marketing stack that can churn out lots of great content and add value. But if you're not working on the same accounts that the sales guys are focusing on, and in an account market or account-based model, they will have strategic accounts. If you're not working together and, as part of that, looking at the strategy that the accounts have and the problems that you can solve, you're not developing that buyer's journey and the content across, that whole spectrum.
Okay, so it comes down to that harmonious work environment, having everyone on the same page really to kind of get to that point to get forward. So if we look at that from a cost and efficiency standpoint, what are the benefits of aligning all teams, if possible, for the benefit of the customer then?
Well, I think you mentioned some of the stats at the beginning. I mean, 65% of all content is wasted. And then a marketing's operation is to set up and build that valuable content, to have the discussions, to build that interest and that awareness. But if we're investing all of our dollars in, whether it's events or webinars or content or, trying to have engagement with you, Max, and other people, if that's not going to actually generate the interest and the value sales guys are looking at, the same accounts that we should be looking at, then everything more or less is wasted. If you don't have an account-based strategy, then everything that I spend in marketing is of wasted value. It might drip through leads, it might drip through some marketing qualified, but I'm still looking at that pipeline. When in reality, what we should be looking at is, the customer is always at the center. I mean, if we understand our customers, if we as a revenue team, sales, marketing, customer success as well, are looking at a set of accounts that we have defined that, could be existing, opportunities for us to grow in those accounts. It's about the value that we can provide to the customer, not the new solution we can sell or the product that we can sell. It's really building that relationship with the customer to see, what problems we can solve better than anyone else.
Yeah. And that's what it always comes down to, isn't it? It's that communication aspect. And whenever we have this conversation, regardless of what area of an organization, that's where the failure comes in.
Yeah. And it should be at the level that our customers operate, or the level of enterprises that we work at. All of the customers and their customers are about solving problems. So it's about helping them to buy. They have identified a problem. They may not have looked at what the solution is exactly, whether it's in the sales environment or the marketing environment. They understand they have a problem. Our job, or our customer's job, and this is what we teach them through the software and the technology, is to understand the people and problems, so that you can have that conversation, so that you can become a trusted advisor and together work on the best route to outcomes and value. But you can't do that if marketing is saying one thing, sales are focusing on someone else. It's just seen as if we can get a big enough funnel, we're going to make a lot of revenue. The world has changed.
Well, very true, and we're going to see even more changes in how people kind of adapt from there. So that's another thing to look at.
Absolutely.
One final thing I wanted to kind of touch on here is, you mentioned technologies at the start and how important they can be, but if you can maybe just give more of an oversight of how that's going to bridge the gap for seamless workflow, and really from your perspective, how you want that to kind of change in the future, and how you want to see this harmonious environment really prosper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of the great things that has happened over the last few years is sort of focus on customer experience. It's a very broad profile, and there's a lot involved in that customer experience from end to end. We, as Upland, and our cloud unit called Enterprise Sales and Marketing, we consist of capabilities that work across that smaller part of the buyer's journey: marketing and sales alignment, generating the awareness and interest, ensuring that your sales teams are focused on people and problems, and the methodology and strategy around sales capabilities. So we've technology around that, but ensuring that, as a revenue team, you are using collected data. But I think the future of a revenue stack is about surfacing that data. And it doesn't have to all be in one integrated application, but being able to surface that data or bring in teams to use the same sort of account information and have those discussions. So, we have applications around content operations. We have applications around sales transformation, account planning, and opportunity management. But what we will do later this year, as we start to integrate some of the roadmaps for the solutions that we own in our business cloud, is start to think about, okay, so what is content operations? Content operations is really that sort of sales engagement. If you're using at scale, you need some sort of tool, and there are lots of great solutions out there that can do, content management. Ours is slightly more defined to operations, and we plug into lots of other things. The point is that, the sales guys need to understand the content that's available, that is being put in front of their customers, so that they can understand, the conversations that they need to have as they book these meetings. But equally, the marketing team needs to understand, who are the accounts that our revenue team are targeting? What do they care about? What problems are we trying to solve? I think the future, and it will take some time, obviously we're trying to get to that state with our solutions. We want to partner with other companies as well. But I think it's around that revenue optimization stack, and not have, well, here's my marketing stack, here's my sales stack, here's my customer success stack, and these are the technologies I need. But that just reinforces silos between teams. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting in my application. We don't actually have any reason to talk to each other, which is why marketing is spending, investment dollars in targeting the wrong accounts, which is why, it's the old funnel model of, well, I'll fill the funnel, and, if sales are not on the same wavelength, they'll disqualify it, which means there is no customer success.
Yeah, completely. It sounds like it's a long road ahead, but not Absolutely. An impossible road for sure. It's as we've been speaking about, it's that communication, it's aligning goals and understanding what each side needs. And it's interesting that you guys are taking this approach, and it'll be exciting to see where this goes in the next couple of years, or even a couple of months. The progress can even start. So Nigel, thank you once again for coming on to Tech Chat, talking to us and kind of walking us through these issues. It's been great talking to you.
I appreciate your time, Max. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who took the time to watch this episode. We hope you took a lot away from it. For more great content, of course, head on over to em360tech.com. To join in the conversation, you can reach us on our social channels at em360 on Twitter and LinkedIn. And of course, for more great videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel. But thank you once again to Nigel, and we'll be back once again with another Tech Chat.